My early years of fishing, I can remember somewhat. As a youngster, probably in grade school, my dad took me and my two brothers most of the time just down to a little creek called the Marys River. We didn't have a boat or anything like that, so we ended up wading the Marys, fishing for bluegill and smallmouth bass, and those were some very fond memories. Bass grabbed my attention early on. I can remember fishing the farm ponds early in the spring and catching my first 3, 4, 5 pound bass, and kind of got me hooked there. As got into college, I can remember having friends that were fishing on the Osage River, which is below Bagnell Dam in Missouri. As I got into college, once again, of course, I had no money. My dad offered to go half on a boat with me, and it was a 17-foot all-weld with an 80 horse jet prop, and it was just perfect for the river. But it was one of the most, I guess, interesting times for me, one of the most favorable times for me, simply because having my first boat and learning the Gasconade River and the Osage River in that boat was where I cut my teeth on fishing. A little later on, my wife, she had an opportunity to be a store manager in Eldon, which is next to the Lake of the Ozarks. And of course, being next to the Lake of the Ozarks, started fishing the lake a little bit more. The comfortable part for me on Lake of the Ozarks at that time was way up the river, the Osage River, which would be next to Truman Dam. Liked fishing shallow, liked fishing dirty water. So when I would practice or fish a tournament on Lake of the Ozarks, I very rarely shut the engine off until I got to at least the 70-mile marker. One of my neighbors where we live at that time was a very well-known angler in this area, Bruce Geyer. We got to be pretty good friends, and one thing led to another and ended up eventually being fishing partners. He probably had a pretty good amount to do with me learning the clearer water, and that there were fish in this water down here, and you didn't have to go 70 miles to go catch one. At that time, started spreading the wings, and it was about the same time that Pro-Am tournaments started to really flourish in the area. Before that, everything I ever fished was a buddy tournament. As I started competing in some of the Pro-Am formats, there were several around. Of course, the Redman and BFL. The very first year that it went from Redman to being called the BFL, I qualified for the All-American tournament, which is at that time about as for a weekend angler, the best tournament that you could fish. It was for $100,000, and it was at Lake Hamilton in Arkansas, and I ended up finishing third in that tournament. The finish that I had there and the recognition that I got, it really got my juices flowing for tournament fishing, and at that point thought about very seriously considering it as a career, and it really never worked out, especially with the family, so decided to stay put and just fish regionally for the most part, which I enjoy to this day. We fished the Anglers in Action Championship in the middle of October, I think it was, and Dennis and I, we won first place in it, and it was a fully rigged Triton bass boat. And then just recently we fished their championship again, which was at Grand Lake, Oklahoma, and we finished second. Last week returned from Lake Dardanelle, had the BFL Regional down there in Russellville, Arkansas, and finished third there, and which enables me to qualify next May for the All-American once again. But all in all, outdoors in general, fishing, hunting, it's been just a huge part of my life, a great part of my life, support from my wife and kids, and they enjoy it as well, especially Chase. Hunting and fishing, the competitiveness of the tournaments, just have had a blessing laid upon me my whole life, and every once in a while pinch myself to make sure that it's real, but that's pretty much my story. Everything has been great, great sponsors, great support, and love from Jesus Christ.